For the most part, if your eye is not diligent, or if your brain has never even heard of the idea that there are men or could be men living in the midst of society who are not women, they live like women and they look like women, but they are not women. They are actual biological men. If you were to cut them and take their blood and test it, the DNA would rat them out. The DNA would tell on them and say, this is a biological male, or a chromosome test would rat them out, because you can't change your biology. This is what everybody says now at the time. But the Lord revealed to me in this dream that there is indeed a next level on the way. When future tech gets here, when the Nephilim are actually free to unveil what they have and what they can do, God is saying and God is showing that the future times ahead are going to be scarier than ever we dreamed, because they will be able to enzymatically, genetically, at the fundamental core chromosome level, change males and females into the opposite sex so that it is nearly undetectable. There will also be technology that can work on even an adult male and adult female who has not been altered at the biological level while a child. There will be technology that will be able to alter these people in their grown state without surgery, without having to cut off breasts and put on, without having to cut off the breasts of the actual female, or without having to put on false breasts or take hormones as the biological male. Basically, what God was showing me is that the clumsy manner by which transgenders are being made now is going to be far eclipsed by the coming of different, higher level, satanically propelled means of changing gender, as the means of changing a man into a woman and a woman into a man. Just a moment, please. Coming. Next level scientific so-called moving up. It will not be by scientific upgrades of human beings. This is technology that will be given unto man, exactly as the fallen did in ancient times when they were creating hybrids for the first time. It was the higher knowledge access that the fallen angels had that were enabling them to create Nephilim biologically, but also, if you would see in the book of Jasher, they were also creating them by means of higher technology and things that they have access to. Fallen angels, the devil, Satan, the wicked have never changed their approach. So if you live in a world where God has revealed why time is speeding up and things like that because of the operation of CERN, then Christians, we simply have to move into a place of broadening, absorbency, the opening up of the heart, so that the mysteries of God can be revealed to us. Why? Because he doesn't want us to be taken in by them. So as you hear me, he was extremely firm and extremely serious, and even seemed a little offended. And he said, that's a man, a born male. He was born male. And you can always tell by the jaw and the chin structure, which they can't seem to get right yet. Yeah, everything looks good. Yeah, everything looks like it's where it should be. Breasts, hips, all that. But look at the chin and the jawline. It gives it away. That's a man, and will always be a man no matter what they do to him. Plasma, lasers, those can only do so much, even though I must admit, they're getting better at it. That's one of the best ones I've seen yet. But he is still a man. And then this man kind of snapped back into it, gendering even those from the womb. In the old days, in the days of Barbara Bush and friends, okay, in the days when all the presidents were marrying men in this country and traipsing them into the White House, they used to disguise by high collars for the Adam's apple, and they didn't have any drugs to disguise the voice, so the men would actually have to affect. And if you want to know how men affect female voices, all you have to do is watch any old Robin Williams movie in which he's typically going silly, or watch Mrs. Doubtfire. That is a perfect example of how you hide an old style 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, 13 and 1100s. These people were transing themselves. That's how you hide an old style transgender. They have to affect a false high female voice. They have to wear the high collars, and they have to disguise with prosthetics, false breasts, and things like that. Don't think that the master artisans of the day, who were creating believable and beautiful female characters, for instance, for Shakespeare's plays and things like that, don't think that those men didn't know how to work with fabric and work with rubber in order to give a presentable and believable female silhouette. The more eyes are looking, more suspicion can be raised. And also, with an increase in medical knowledge, with an increase in prosthetic usage and making, this is how the transgendered of, I would say, the medium periods, the Barbara Bushes and them, now coming into the Nancy Reagans and them, the Jackie O's and them, this is how they were disguising themselves, because now surgery could come in and shave in that Adam's apple. Clavicles can be broken and repositioned, but even most of them, this thing is part of holding up the skeletal structure, and it's very dangerous to try and break it, which is why you can always spot all the fake supermodels, all the Victoria's Secret models. You can see that they're men because they have a straight T-bar across here, whereas the female clavicle tends to come into a V. And so this man is talking about things that we